Hello, today we're going to talk about Shochu and Awamori, Japan's best kept secrets. The first thing that I want to talk about is four questions that I often hear when I present about Shochu and Awamori to people from other countries. Question number one is, what is it? What is shochu? What is awamori? Question number two is it similar to sake? Or is awamori similar to vodka? These are very common questions. Question number three that I'll talk about today is, how are shochu and awamori made? Question number four is, how do people drink shochu and awamori in Japan? So let's start with question number one. What is it? What are shochu and awamori? Well, awamori and shochu are Japan's indigenous spirits, Japan's native spirits. And they are not new. They have 600 years of history. Now, awamori is really only made in Okinawa, but shochu is made everywhere. Shochu is made in every prefecture. But, of course, the main region is Kyushu. Now, shochu and awamori are carefully controlled by the Japanese government. They are not moonshine. This is not some risky or dangerous drink. These are craft spirits that are made by artisans. And while awamori can only be made from rice, shochu is very diverse. It can be made from many ingredients. And let me talk about the most popular ingredients now. The most popular ingredient by sales is sweet potatoes. Sweet potato shochu is roughly 50% or close to 50% of the Japanese market for shochu. Number two is barley. Barley shochu, which is mostly made in northern Kyushu, is very popular. Then we have rice. Rice is next. That's rice shochu and awamori. After that, we have kokuto shochu. Kokuto is a dark sugar, and kokuto shochu is made only in the Amami Islands in southern Kagoshima Prefecture. After that, buckwheat shochu or soba shochu is also popular. And then there are many, many other ingredients that can be used. But these are the most common, the most popular, the best sellers. Now, a very important ingredient that is also used to make shochu and awamori is koji. Have you heard of koji before? Koji is essential for Japanese food and Japanese drinks. Koji is a mold that converts starches into sugars. When you have sugar, you can make alcohol. But when you have starch, it's not easy to make alcohol. So we need koji to make that conversion. Koji is also used to make miso and soy sauce and mirin and sake. Many delicious things in Japan. And without koji, we don't have Japanese food or Japanese drinks. It's one of the most important ingredients in Japanese food and drinks culture. As you can see, there are 3 types of koji, white, black, and yellow, that are used to make shochu, and Awamori only uses black. That's a rule. But koji is very important. Also, very important is how koji changes the flavor, the aroma. It's a very dynamic ingredient. And that leads me to question 2. Is shochu similar to these other drinks? Let's go one by one. Is shochu similar to Nihonshu? Or is Awamori similar to Nihonshu? No, not really. Nihonshu is sake. Nihonshu is brewed. It's not distilled. Shochu and Awamori are spirits. They are distilled. So sake is more similar to beer or wine, while shochu and Awamori are more similar to tequila, mezcal, whiskey. That's a big difference. So no, they are not similar. Is shochu similar to Korean soju? No, they're not similar. Korean soju is multiply distilled, like vodka, for a very high alcohol percentage. And then sweeteners are added to the soju. So it's a very sweet drink. Shochu, you can't use multiple distillation. And you can't add sweeteners. So shochu and soju are very different drinks. Shochu is made, most Honkaku shochu or authentic shochu is made by small-sized companies, whereas Korean soju is almost entirely made by large corporations. Moving on, is shochu similar to vodka? No. Vodka, like Korean soju, is multiply distilled. Honkaku shochu can't be. Ryukyu, Awamori can't be multiply distilled. Moving on. Is kokuto shochu, is it similar to rum? No, not really, because to make kokuto shochu, you must use rice koji. And rice is never used to make rum. Also, kokuto shochu can only be made in the Amami Islands. It can't be made anywhere else. So that's another reason why kokuto shochu and rum are different. Are aged shochu and awamori similar to whiskey? Aged in barrels or casks like whiskey. Are they similar? Sometimes the flavor can be a little bit similar, but generally no, they are not similar. Malting is not allowed in shochu and awamori production. We must use koji, not malt. So that's a big difference. Another big difference is color. Honkaku shochu and Ryukyu Awamori can't be very dark. Whiskey is usually quite dark. It's amber. It's very darkly brown. Shochu, Honkaku shochu never is. That's another big difference. Color. Question number 3, how is it made? Shochu and awamori are a little bit different. Shochu usually has a 2-step fermentation process. Awamori has a 1-step fermentation process. Let's look more closely. The first fermentation for shochu and awamori is the same. There is water and koji and yeast. In most cases, it's rice koji, and that is always true for awamori. But barley koji and sometimes sweet potato koji and other types of koji are also possible when making shochu. Now, for awamori, there's only one fermentation. It's a rice koji and yeast fermentation. That's it. And there is no second fermentation. After the first fermentation, the mash is distilled. However, shochu usually has a second fermentation. In the second fermentation, the mash will include the main ingredient. If it's a sweet potato shochu, the sweet potatoes will be added to the second fermentation. If it's a barley shochu, the barley might be added only to the second fermentation. Kokuto sugar shochu, kokuto is added to the second fermentation. After the second fermentation is finished, the fermented mash is transferred to the still, where it is distilled to somewhere between 37% alcohol and 43 or 44% alcohol. It's a single pot distillation. Pot still, only one distillation. That's quite rare in the world of spirits. After distillation, there are varying lengths of aging. Some companies will age the shochu or awamori in tanks. Some places use clay pots. And some places use barrels or casks. After aging, there is often some dilution using spring water. There is often some level of filtration, and then the shochu or awamori is put into bottles and sent off for sale. This process changes from distillery to distillery, but generally most distilleries follow what was described here. Last question. How do people drink shochu and awamori in Japan? And the first answer is with food. With food. Shochu and awamori are strange because they are spirits that pair with food. That's rare. And there are serving styles to match your personal tastes. For instance, you can drink shochu straight. But most people try on the rocks or a cool water mix, which is mizuwari in Japanese. Some people like to drink their shochu in a hot water mix, which is oyuwari. There's also a more traditional style called maewari, which is a pre-mixed shochu, pre-mixed water or pre-diluted shochu that has been allowed to blend with the water over 1 or 2 days before serving. And then also there is a sparkling water mix or club soda mix, which is called sodawari. So you should choose the type that is best for you. Shochu is not a new trend. It has been around for hundreds of years. And the WTO has recognized 4 types of traditional spirit in Japan with GIs, or geographical indications, just like champagne or scotch. In Japan, there is something called Satsuma Shochu, and this is sweet potato shochu made in Kagoshima Prefecture with sweet potatoes harvested in Kagoshima. There's also Ryukyu Awamori, which is a rice spirit made with black koji in Okinawa. Also, Iki Shochu is a rice and barley shochu that is made only on Iki Island. There are 7 distilleries that make it today. And finally, Kuma Shochu, or rice shochu, made with rice and water from the Kuma River, or the springs underneath Kuma River in the Hitoyoshi City area of Kumamoto Prefecture. These are traditional styles, and they are protected internationally by the WTO. There is one other type of shochu, which is called korui. And it's not really shochu. It's more like vodka. It can be made with anything, in any way possible. And it has no character. You can't taste the ingredients. You can't smell the vegetables that were used to make it. So today, we have been talking about Honkaku shochu, single pot distilled shochu made in Japan. Korui shochu is often made in Brazil, imported into Japan, distilled again, and then used to make chuhai, umeshu, or homemade liqueurs, and sometimes also used to fortify other drinks, such as some cheaper versions of sake. But Honkaku shochu doesn't allow those shortcuts. Honkaku shochu is single pot distillation with approved ingredients and their koji. Overseas, at this point, internationally, you can really only buy Honkaku shochu at this point. Korui shochu is still not available, and that's okay. So, key points, big points. Number 1, there is a shochu or awamori for everyone. find your shochu. And find your drinking style. Do you like shochu on the rocks? Do you like oyuwani, hot water mix? Find your type, and then find your serving style. Shochu and Awamori are pure spirits. There are no additives, no color changers, no flavor enhancers, no sweeteners, no acids, nothing. It's very pure. So if you only drink shochu and awamori, your hangover should be reduced. Of course, it depends on the total amount you drink. But generally, it's much softer, much nicer to your body than other common types of alcohol. Also, shochu and awamori are one of the lowest calorie spirits in the world. There's fewer calories than most any other drink you can think of because they're pure spirits and they are low. They have a low alcohol percentage, generally speaking. So this makes it easier on the body in terms of diet as well. A couple of recommendations. If someone is new to shochu, ask about what they usually drink. So if someone tells me I'm a wine drinker, then I say, okay, you should maybe try some purple sweet potato or red sweet potato shochu, especially for red wine drinkers, because the tannins in red wine, if they like the tannins, maybe they will enjoy the fruitiness and the spiciness of a purple sweet potato shochu. For beer drinkers, I say, oh, maybe you should try a barley shochu first. For whiskey drinkers, of course, cask-aged or barrel-aged shochu. There's a lot of barrel-aged barley shochu available on the market now. For sake drinkers, rice or sake kasutori shochu, I think, are easy choices. Awamori is also a good choice. I would recommend awamori for a fan of really deep and rich umami-laden sake types. Maybe not daiginjo type. Something with a seimai buai that's a little bit lower. For tequila drinkers or mezcal drinkers, I recommend sweet potato shochu. For vodka drinkers, maybe something that is vacuum distilled, like a vacuum distilled rice shochu or a vacuum distilled barley shochu. And for rum drinkers, of course, kokuto shochu. So those are some of that's my quick introduction to shochu and awamori, how to talk about it. I hope that this video has been helpful. I hope that my speech was clear. And if you have any questions, then please let me know. Thank you, and kanpai.